Okay, hi Erica. If you want to go ahead and we'll start here, and if you could just tell us what your job title is and what that means, that would be great.
My name is Erica Kino. I'm the Quality Improvement Specialist for Menominee, Delta, and Schoolcraft counties with Great Start to Quality. My role is basically supporting our providers. So there are licensed providers, centers, and like school age programs that we are connected with. I do a lot of technical assistance with them. There's my registry that they have to sign in, and they have a profile in there that keeps track of all of their things like their professional development. Another job that I do is I facilitate professional developments with my team. We do all kinds of different things. Most of the things we've been doing recently are all online. With the pandemic going on, we have not done much in person. Everything that we had scheduled in person is now delayed or rescheduled to be online. We do a lot of outreach with parents and providers. We connect parents with licensed providers or school age programs. And you, like it just showed on the video that I played, it'll go, I'm gonna pull up the updated website now. So it looks a little bit different than what was on the video here, but this is the Great Start to Quality website. There's all kinds of different stuff on here. So say a parent is looking to find childcare for their family. They would go into the family part, click on finding childcare. There is a little bit of an easier way than what it had shown on the video. There's like a quick search where you can just put in, so I live in Stevenson, so we're gonna do that. I don't know, it automatically filled my address in there, but then you can click what these are here. So it'll show you there's an elementary GSRP. It'll show you my old program because I actually was a licensed provider here in Stevenson. And then just one other one in our small little town. But that's just basically how that works to do the searching on there. When you go into the providers tab of it, it'll do different things, like explains how these providers get their star ratings, the steps that they have to go through, which is, it's quite a bit of work. So when you see these programs who are star rated, they have really put their heart and soul into making their programs better, like it explained on that video. You know, if they come out at a 1 star, most of them are going to try to get to 2 or 3 stars. Some of them come out right away at a 4 star, try to get to a 5 star. It's just kind of a never ending evolution of trying to improve their program and meet the parents' needs. Professional development like this. There is, it's called the McKinney-Vento training that we've done. One of my coworkers is kind of the specialist on that. She puts it on, I think she said 4 times a year, does an excellent job at it. And it's just very eye-opening to see how many people in your community probably are homeless to a certain degree. You know, maybe they have a place to stay, but it's not their own place. It's not consistent. It's maybe just a night or two. This kind of goes through and explains some of our changes that are coming up. It's going to move from a star rating to, it's called 3.0, where it's just going to be a little bit different, and they have not released all the information on that, so I'm not going to get too far into it. Basically, they're going to be looking at kind of the same indicators, but just different ways to keep learning and growing. The resource centers are all listed here, and I'm just going to scroll down to our Upper Peninsula Resource Center. So it kind of gives a little information on the counties that they're serving. Here's our staff. Deb Dupra is our director. She is amazing. I've been with this agency for about 5 months now. And at first I felt like I was a little bit lost in space because everything is virtual. So I was not learning anything hands-on. She has been wonderful. My whole entire team, anytime I have a question, I just reach out and ask them. They're so supportive. I've learned so much. I know I'm still not super comfortable with everything that I'm doing yet, but I think it's just going to take a little bit more time than normal because it's not hands-on. Everything is just virtual, and a matter of trying to find all the information that I need. It's all there. I just need to know where to look with it. One of the other things that we had talked about is lending library. So this is a service that we provide for parents, grandparents, teachers, any kind of licensed providers. You would create a profile before you would go into, like, this is the website where you can go into. I'm just going to show you how this works a little bit before I show you how to create your profile. These are some of the different things that are offered. There's a lot of puppet bags. In fact, this is the one right here that I have sitting next to me.
Booger bear.
So, yep, the booger bear. I thought that was kind of fitting for tonight. So in this bag is a story, the booger bear, which is really cute, and then has this stuffed animal to go along with it. We have tons and tons of bags like this that have books and puppets. We also have kits. So this one's kind of a big kit. It's going to be a little bit hard to show, but this is our camping kit that was super popular throughout the summer. So it has like all the little dishes, lantern, big fire. I don't know how well you can see that. Got little binoculars, fish, all kinds of stuff that would be, you know, involved with your camping stuff. But it's just great because you can take these. It's a free, a free service that we provide. You can take it for a month. You can take it for a week. You can take it for 3 months. If you're not ready to return it right away, we'll just renew it as long as there's not a hold on it waiting for other people. But I mean, we have throughout the UP, there are 5 of us on my team who distribute these within our counties. So if I don't have something and one of my providers wants it, they just put it on hold on this website. And then as we're meeting as a team, which is not super often right now, but we'll all bring our lending library swap outs and swap those out. So I have this flyer, which I don't know, maybe Lori, you could email it to them because
Yes.
you were going to print it out. This kind of explains to you how you can go ahead and go online and create yours. A lot of people have been having trouble when they go on and get this need password thing. It's not working real well. So if you wanted to go down and use my email, send me your information and I will send it to our office manager and she will create your profile for you. And then you're good to go. You can scan this, you can click on this link, however is easier for you. You can go on, look at the different materials we
I
have.
can't see the flyer. Did you pull that up?
It's not showing?
No, you'll have to go out of this screen and then go back in, do a different screen share maybe.
All right, I'm sorry about that. Let's try
It's
that.
okay. I was starting to get frantic and I'm like, is she emailing it to me?
How is that now? Is it showing?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So see, it has a few examples on here of the pictures of how the lending libraries are. And I mean, there's so many different ones. There's a lot of social emotional bags that we use too. I think one of them that I had was like children whose parents are divorcing, you know, just a real hard time for them, and just a little book that has some ways to express their feelings and stuff, just that social emotional support. So this was, you know, the QR code I was talking about and the link address to go in there. And then my email address is down here. You're more than welcome to call me also if you wanted to do that. I can try to walk you through it, but it's probably easiest to send an email, then I can just forward it right to our office manager.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, that's actually where I get the parachute every year for our picnic, and also that the fort building kit that they have. Those are from their lending library, and all the puppet bags that are in my office, which are available for checkout. We do have like about 10 different themed bags if you ever want to check one out, but then we do have a few on hand. So anyway, I just want to relate to something they may know already.
Did anybody have any questions for me? I know I covered kind of a lot of stuff in a short time.
I do. So if somebody is looking for childcare, because I get calls a lot where people are like, you know, they have questions, and I usually just say, get a hold of Erica and she can help walk you through this.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I've had people say, you know, do you know if there's any openings here or there? And I'm like, I have no idea, but call Erica because she might have some idea because you work with a lot of the providers. Is that accurate?
Yes. So unfortunately, the common theme right now, because we are in a childcare crisis, is that not many people have openings. And if they do, they're not exactly what the people are looking for. So we are really encouraging people to open their own childcares. And I'm happy to help walk through those steps too, if anybody would ever need that. So if you think of somebody who is talking about, hey, maybe I'll do an in-home daycare, or maybe I'll buy a center, you can send them our way. Even if I can't do anything with you, I can refer you to licensing who can answer questions. We just kind of have the tools to support those processes.
And what is that CDC that we were talking about earlier?
The child development care. So if people are having some financial difficulties, they can go online and apply, or they can go into their local offices and apply for childcare assistance. So what would happen is if you are in a licensed provider, or actually there is unlicensed care who is I'm not sure if it has to be a relative who's gone through our orientation, but people who have gone through our orientation are able to do unlicensed care in somebody's home, not in their own home, but in the child's home. So they are able to bill for hours, and then the state, the CDC makes their payments directly to the provider, either licensed or the unlicensed ones. So that is a huge thing that has been helping so many people during this pandemic. They can continue working and still be able to afford to send their kids to childcare.
Excellent. And the unlicensed provider thing that you just touched on, so that's the orientation that people would go through. Do you know how much that pays if people were to do something like that? Like, so that's like if your grandma or your mom, sorry, grandma, the kid's grandma or mom, were watching the kids, they came to the home, to your home, they could actually get reimbursed for watching the kids.
Correct. There are different tiers, and I'm not exactly sure what the pay is on those. And that depends. I believe the tiers depend on like where you're located, what your income is. You know, there's different kind of risk factors that they calculate into that. There's also like the food group has the different tiers like that too. I am not sure if those providers, the unlicensed providers, are able to join the food group. That's something that I should probably look into with that too. But when they're the food group, like when I had my childcare, I had Mid-Michigan food group, it was called. And what they do is kind of regulate your meals. You still cook them and you still buy the groceries and everything, but they're telling you the rules that you should follow to provide these healthy meals, healthy and balanced meals. And they give you ideas so that they're not repetitive, which is a huge bonus if you do go to a child care facility and they are part of a food group, because you know that somebody's coming in and doing inspections and making sure that they're following these rules. They're taking attendance. They're just, you know, staying on track. So sometimes I know a lot of people think that licensed providers are just kind of babysitters. There is a lot to their role that the normal person does not see. So if your children do go to a licensed provider, please just remember how much work they do for you. They are the reason that a lot of people are able to continue working. I know we didn't have a lot of options when my kids were little. I live in a very small community. My parents were not retired yet. So I did end up choosing to stay home because I had a hard time finding a place that I could, you know, in good conscience leave my children. There were several around that either didn't have openings or I just did not feel comfortable leaving them there. So I was lucky enough to be able to stay home for a few years when my kids were little. And then as they got older, that's when I chose to open my childcare so I could still continue to have my own kids. So if that's something anybody is considering, it was so beneficial. I really, really loved it. I do miss it. I'm not gonna lie, I really miss seeing all my daycare kids. That was a huge part of my life, but with my own family getting so big and everything and running and running and running with all of our sports, I just couldn't keep doing it and doing a good job at it. Now, like this job, I get to see the whole different side of things and I am loving it just as much. I just miss working with the kids. That's kind of, you know, just part of my passion. So I'm hoping that we get to start going back into programs real soon. So fingers crossed COVID's going to slow down a little bit and allow us to do that.
Awesome. So that's our Great Start umbrella. So we have different parts of it, like when we say Great Start, so there's the Great Start Collaborative, which works with all the agencies that serve families. There's the Parent Coalitions, which brings our parent voice to the collaborative and works on different initiatives in the community to support families. Then we have Great Start to Quality, which is they oversee the child care and making sure there's high quality programs for our kids to go to. And then also there is the GSRP, which is the Great Start Readiness Program, which is Michigan's free preschool program for 4-year-olds. So just so that you have a bigger picture of what Great Start is, those are all the greats. So, so that we work together. Yeah, we work together, but in like kind of totally different things. So, and we had a couple of different focus groups around childcare that we participated in. And I know that that's part of also what you work with the state, right? Is trying to like find ways, creative ways to fill those gaps that exist.
Yes, like I said, there's such a crisis right now with the need for childcare and just not the time slots. You know, a lot of off shifts, second shift, third shift, and there just is not availability. So every county that I've come across that, you know, all my coworkers say the same thing. There's wait lists, wait lists, wait lists. So I feel for these parents who are looking.
Absolutely. So do you have any questions for Erica? I'm trying to think if there's anything that I know about that we may have missed, but I think you were pretty comprehensive in covering a lot of that.
One thing that I've noticed, like I don't need childcare myself because I stay home with my 3-year-old. But one thing that I noticed, like before Zachary came around, I was looking for childcare for my older son. And I ended up having to put him in a daycare that was like literally the only 24-hour daycare in our entire area. And which she is now shut down. But that's one thing that I noticed a lot of parents have an issue with is finding childcare past like the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. type thing. A lot of parents, and it makes it hard for parents to find jobs like outside of that time area because they don't have childcare.
Absolutely. That is a trouble that we're running into. I know we've been sending surveys out to our providers and to parents, trying to just kind of figure out solutions to these problems. You know, when you look at the in-home providers, you see like most of them have young kids at home, they have kids in school, and that's probably why there's such a lack of the nighttime care, because they're trying to be to their kids' events, and it's hard. You know, there's different licensing rules for nighttime, but that is definitely something that is on our radar. We're trying to figure out some solutions for that. I have not been able to come up with anything super productive to give forth to my, you know, to my team, because I wasn't able to do that as a provider because of my own family. You know, maybe earlier on in my life or later on in my life, well, you know, when my kids have moved out and I've slowed down a little bit with our own family time, that would be an option. So I have to look at the other providers and understand that that's what the issue is. In centers also, the staffing, we're really having some hard time keeping staffing in these centers. There's a lot of turnover. Some people just aren't cut out to be in the early childhood field, and that's understandable. Some people say that it doesn't pay enough. It's a hard job, but that's these big stabilization grants that are being dispersed right now. We're encouraging providers to put that towards their programs, towards their employees, to keep quality employees in there, to bring more quality employees in. So we are definitely aware of the need for it. We just have not been able to tackle a solution for it yet.
Yeah, that's always been a desert area for sure, is the after hours care overnight. And then also for people who have kids with special needs, it's really can be challenging trying to find the appropriate place for your kids to go. You know, and it's hard too. I mean, the other thing that nobody likes to talk about, I know it like makes Deb cringy, is just that those date nights, trying to find somebody that's qualified to watch your kids so that you can escape for an evening, or say you need a day on a weekend or something, to go do something. How hard it is sometimes just to find a teenager or somebody that's going to be a safe person for your kids to be with. But that's really some of the areas that are really, really challenging, to find people that wouldn't qualify under a unlicensed provider. So, but there's
Right, and I know even licensed providers have offered the option to do like as their Christmas present to their families. You guys can go out and do a date night. Everybody is open from this time to this time, but then they're running into trouble with their licensing consultants because it's not during their licensed time. So there's always these challenges. I mean, providers are trying so hard to give back where they can, and then they have all these little hurdles.
Yeah. Yes, it's a lot. Any other questions for Erica that you can think of right now? So I'm gonna forward, I will send out the flyer that she shared with us, and I'll also send a link to this recording, as well as a link to the YouTube video that she showed. I think I'm gonna also post that on our Facebook page, just because I thought it was really, sometimes it's really hard to explain everything.
It is. And the website it shows on there is a little bit dated, but it still gives you the overall explanation of what our agency is about.
Exactly. So, and we'll keep asking the state to maybe make us some social media posts too, just to kind of inform families about all the different services that you guys provide. So I'm going to stop recording now. If I can figure out how to do that. Oh, here it is.